Hello, I'm Megan Catherin, and this is Megan Catherin Enlightenment, bringing you into more of your 5D mystic living experience. So let's take you there in a discussion around removing implants. I have to use my story as to what actually happened to me last night. So I'm going to read it exactly as they got me to do it, but in the background of it, at the time, I didn't fully comprehend what was happening. I had some basics and I said yes, and away they went and did this implant removal. I have then had the opportunity to sit in that energy and understand kind of what they did and what it was, and to feel myself on both sides of the realm of my spirit and my higher self, and this connection to source. And then Megan, the human, sort of going, what is this now? And her brain starting to put words and wrap herself around that. So I will read it to you first, and then I'll see what they want to say around it to help along your 5D living experience with implants. Okay, there's lots and lots of different types of implants, and these particular ones that we're talking about here can vary and be different for each and every one of you. So just to quantify and qualify that, I will read my version of it, and then I'll discuss a little bit further just to add in something. I don't even know where we're going. Just go there. Okay, so last night, the top of my head, slightly to the left back of the crown, around here, was sore and tender. I don't know if anybody gets that, where your hair hurts and it's like your skin hurts. It can happen when my hair's been pulled up for a while, but my hair wasn't even up. It was just regular. So didn't really understand, but I kept having to rub that and thinking, oh, that's sore. What's going on? So it had been going on all day. But then I got told something needed to be released, and in bed about 11:30ish, I was asked if they could enter the room to remove a genetic implant that had built up in my head. Also one at the back of the breastplate sort of being that bottom of your rib cage, so to the back and around that, and the heart as well, that heart area. So that's how I was told at the time what it was. And then another in my right knee. I had actually had a sore knee since the day before, when I decided only 24 hours before to go to a dance, low impact dance thing. And I didn't decide it, I was called to it. And then my knee showed up as a pain too. So I was already struggling with that, but I didn't actually physically have any pain behind my heart or anything, but my body was indicating some stuff to me already. So they worked on the crown first. It wasn't something I had personally planted in my DNA. Now, that was a thought I had, because I was like, sometimes we plant things in our DNA in order to determine how and what is going to happen in what time frames. And we are totally in control of when they are to come in and when they're to come out. But this wasn't my own planting. So I had that thought at the time when they'd asked me if they could work on me. It had occurred in one of this is what I then understood today. It had occurred in one of the experiences I had had as another being on another planet. It was put there by a large race of beings who took over. They gathered up all the warriors, mostly women, and I did have a thought in my head last night, warrior woman. That's also just something that came in. But they gathered up all the warriors, mostly women, and implanted this corruption virus to diminish our power. It has been carried ever since through my DNA and many others. It is passed on in the genetic makeup of many humans, if not the majority. So that was one of them. And I must say I didn't feel a lot in the sense of what was going on, because they tend to knock me out. So awarenesses come and go, and I'm in and out. Anyway, it deletes our power to connect to the force. It stops us from connecting to the planet and utilizing her energy and nature's force. I can now open up to this. It allows my moon to grow its capacity. And I'll explain the moon a little bit to the end here. Next, I did the sun, or what I recognized today. Oh yeah, that's the sun. The back of my diaphragm and my heart, that area. That's how it was at the time last night, just that area. But then in the morning, I was like, oh, that's my sun. Okay, I get it. This implant fanned out to block my extremities' energy flow. In my body, it felt and showed as blood pressure lack. i.e. the symptoms of low oxygen supply. Hence why my hands, feet and head don't stay warm easily and the delivery of nutrients is often low. Hence dry skin, brittle nails, hair loss, etc. A lot of that is attributed to low blood pressure. And my understanding is my blood pressure can go low sometimes, but not enough to be a problem. It's always in the withins kind of thing. But I do have symptoms of cold extremities, and a lot of people do. Your hands and feet can never get warm. You can have brittle or weak nails, a lot of hair loss, and we can contribute it to all sorts of things. But right now, they're showing me on a spiritual level of my physical body where that was and what it was doing. So they took this energetic implant out. This implant was not put in there by me either. It occurred in another planetary experience in another realm. Coming through a portal to this realm to experience life here on Earth and other places known to and seen from Earth as we know it now, I was corrupted. My DNA was disturbed. This disturbance was initiated by how do you say it? Anunnaki. There you go. Anunnaki. I find that it trips over my tongue, and I'm getting told because it's not really what we would call them all the time. There's a variance of these beings. But anyways, it was a group. So giants of the reptilian hybrid races is the words I had this morning. If I could no longer feel my sun, I could not return. I would be entrapped where they could control my destiny. It didn't take hold as they had hoped, but it made enough distortion to disturb my DNA and cut me off to some degree to my power of the sun. Finally, the beings who entered my physical room and worked on my physicality took the implant from my knee. I had gone to a low-impact dance class the day before, first time of exercise for a very long time. I noticed my knee somewhat. Having already had an arthroscope done nearly 20 years back after it broke down playing netball, I was surprised to feel pain. It felt weak, tight above the knee, and disturbed my psyche with fear and less than feelings. I was having those through the dance each time I could feel my knee and get that sort of, oh no, my knee's going to break down and I'm going to go into that, it was that feeling. Now, when writing this, I was led to go in, basically went into that meditation state where I can't keep my eyes open and connect to who the beings who did this implant upgrade work last night were. So I closed my eyes and went in and was trying to recognize it. It took me a while to give recognition or a name, and I came up here with cosmic rays. This is the words that eventually came to my mind. Okay, so I then continued to write. The cosmic rays, leaders of the stars and star beings, were the ones who placed this implant in my DNA with good reason. I too am one. I too am a star leader or cosmic ray of the greatest order, creator of stars, life material, and much more. So that was a revelation. This DNA inhibitor was placed there before I began the journey to stop me from being corrupted. It protected my other DNA and kept me incognito. I could travel the stars without ever being detected as a cosmic ray, a creator of life and form. Now is the time to remember. Now is the time to understand the stars, not as planets and solar systems, but as energy streams and intelligent matter embodied by the spirit of Source, created for Source to experience itself, to remember who we are as cosmic beings and expressors of light. Okay. It was a big morning. Welcome to my office. It was life in Megan's office. This is my work about talking with Natasha, who will be talking later. We're going to put another video up. But yeah, our work isn't all about the work we think is a thing here. It's about our calling. And so now was the time for these implants to be lifted. So I haven't really talked about it here. I talk about it in my Mystic membership a lot as part of the Mystic body, but there is the chakra system, and then there is this system of what I call the mercurial moon. So taking from these chakral systems up, that moon space, it's like another version of our auric being, our structure, our connection, and we're opening up to all of that. We then can go from basically that throat crossover to that solar plexus area. All of that is our sun. And then that again, that solar plexus, that crossover down to our Earth star is our star connection. Now, we think of the stars as moons and as, you know, planets and things like that, but this is the beings of star, the being of star, the beginnings, the energy, the speaking of star. So this starness that we're connecting to, they're words. That's all my brain can take on as a word. So you might have your own version of that. But this is an entry point for ownership of our own energy. And once we get that up and running, it doesn't have to be fully up and running, but we start to then open up to what is already there, waiting for us to connect our magnetic core. And that magnetic core connects us to the core of Earth, connects us to the core of many planets, the sun, and then connects us back to the source or heavenly source, and then source itself that is in constant movement. So it's our core self, and it is open to the signature of us, the facet of source that we are operating as, and all the connectedness that comes from the multidimensionality of that. So that was just a quick explanation of what I'm opening up to. Implants as well, they're not all bad. They're not even permanent, because if we keep doing the work, we are got the calling. If we keep going through this spiritual development and opening up to our 5D body, our mystic body, our multidimensional nature on the other side, and letting it embody, then we do open up to that core nature energy. And that is the force energy, that life energy, the nature energy that we're going to be able to create with and become those super beings, if you want to call it that. But what I call the Homo luminous, the luminous human, the illuminated human, the human that uses light and energy of their own from source, not from each other. Okay, whew. Take what you can, what you want. Any questions, throw them in the comments. Please subscribe. It helps me to stay brave and keep growing. And yeah, have a good one with removing implants if that's what you're ready to do. It's obviously why you were brought to this particular one now. And as I said, it isn't just those implants that are there, but they are what comes through and eventually develops as something in your physicality. So even though they're on a broader sense in our structural beingness that we don't fully understand, there is also that physical direction that will show you that something, if you go deep enough, is corrupted or distorted or ready to open up. Sometimes it's just the body doesn't know how else to speak it but in pain. So, bye.